Sweden and Finland are one step closer to joining NATO. That's after allies formally invited the Nordic duo to join the defence alliance in Brussels earlier. Well, NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg described it as the fastest accession process in the organisation's history. All 30 countries must now ratify the bids in their home parliaments. Last week, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan removed his block on the two countries joining after Norway and Sweden both agreed to extradite people that Ankara views as terrorists. But Erdogan now warns that his legislators may still refuse to ratify the deal. Well, straight over to Brussels then, where our correspondent Maeve McMahon is standing by for us. Maeve, the accession protocols have been signed. What does this mean for Finland? What does it mean in terms of Sweden and Finland actually joining NATO? What is the timeline here?
Good evening, Helena. Well, they don't become official members overnight, but it does mean as of tomorrow they can already start participating in the day-to-day activities of the NATO alliance and start working in the over 150 working groups and prepping in various military plans, etc. That's why we heard of rather excited Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg of NATO today, calling today a very historic day. This would have been unheard of just last year, and in the last couple of years, many saying that NATO was obsolete and brain dead, and now it's really finding again its raison d'etre. Jens Stoltenberg said he would be pleased to very soon see two new NATO flags hanging outside his office, because of course with these two new members it means more budget and more resources and the doubling of the border with Russia. But to become fully fledged members, Finland and Sweden need to see that protocol ratified by all the current 30 members of NATO. Denmark has already done so today. Estonia is planning on having a meeting tomorrow in its parliament, and when this happens, which could take about a year according to the Secretary-General, NATO will then have 32 members.
Well, on that point then, Maeve, with regards to ratification, Turkey could still remain a stumbling block if its parliament does refuse to ratify the accession protocol. I mean, how much of a risk is that?
Well, it is a risk. It's very important to point it out. It won't be plain sailing, the ratification of that protocol, like it was, for example, in Denmark when it comes to Turkey. There's a huge debate in Turkey about this issue, and that's why we saw Turkey almost scupper the big announcement about this NATO expansion that was coming out of that NATO summit last week. But in the end, the three countries, Sweden, Finland and Turkey, did sign off on a pledge, on a memorandum of understanding. But the details of that memorandum are still a little bit murky, and the figures of the amount of Kurdish terrorists, alleged terrorists, that Sweden and Finland have to repatriate back to Turkey, it's still unclear. Let's take a listen now to Jens Stoltenberg. I addressed that question to him. I asked him for more clarity on that pledge.
Finnish, Swedish and Turkey document. The document is public, so everyone can read. But the main message there is that this is a document that provides a good platform for Turkey, Finland and Sweden to work even closer on fighting terrorism. That's a common goal. They all agree on the need to fight terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. And I welcome that they now want to work more closely together in doing exactly that.
So Jens Stoltenberg there remaining very diplomatic. He also told me he welcomed the fact that Turkey did sign up to this pledge. But of course, different reports up in Scandinavia as there is to Turkey, and elections, of course, coming up next year in Turkey. So yeah, it could take a while for them to ratify that protocol.